goes with one of my questions actually.
Yeah, what's up?
Being vulnerable online. So like with your page, I've realized like you're not like I'm not saying like you're completely like open book vulnerable, but like, you are like more so like vulnerable in the sense like it's like photography and kind of like insight into your life. So I kind of wanted your take on like not so much how to be vulnerable, but how you kind of present yourself online, sort of like how you allow yourself to be vulnerable online.
Well, it's interesting that you pick up on that because I feel like lately I've become less vulnerable online. Like I feel like I try to overshare less because my following has grown and more people are listening to what I'm saying, and that makes me scared. But I mean, it's no secret. You look at like any of my posts or you read any of my stuff, like throughout all of high school, I had really bad mental health issues. And I know that like certain things that people say online or things they post just like really, really, really resonate. And if I can do that for someone else, and that's like incredible because I've been on the other end of it, like on, you know, as a teenager and depressed and you hate yourself and you have all these, you know, bad habits and self-hate and shit like that. It's like, if someone I know or someone that follows me is in that situation and they can look up to someone like me, like that's just crazy to me. So as much as it scares me to be like open and vulnerable and share like my personal stuff on a platform where over 3,000 people read what I say, I think I just kind of push myself to take that risk because there could be a 14-year-old person like me that needed to read that today. So yeah, I try to be open, but it is terrifying because there's a lot of people that read what I say. But yeah, I mean, being a useful person or inspiring person, definitely try that no matter what. So yeah, and I think a lot of people probably can resonate with a lot of my story where like you're young and you're lost and you're, you know, really whatever's going on in your life. Yeah, and then you get to a point where you mature, something changes, you make a life change, I'm studying what I want now and I have a really nice home life, like I have my own house, whatever. Yeah. And like to show you can be in that really shitty place and be like and hate yourself and not know what you're doing, and then it can still change one day. And those kinds of things helped me when I was in that space. So yeah, it's just cool to grow up and be on the other end of it all and
be the one kind of showing other people like you can get better, right?
You can get better. One day you can be making money by taking pictures of people, putting it on the internet, and people will like double tap your post and make you feel good and stuff. Like keep doing it. It's gonna work out one day.
So do you have any tips for people who want to be vulnerable online but just like can't push past like a nervous barrier, kind of just anxious about it?
I don't know.
What are some of the things that like you, I guess, kind of like made you want to, well, not made you want to be vulnerable because you said that already, but kind of what made you not like be restricted, like not second guess the post, not second guess, but not like delete the post and never post it.
No, I got you. It's funny because very often I do delete the post and I reread it and I'm like, is that really what I want to say? But like I said before, like the good that it can do totally outweighs like the fear on the other end. And it may seem like kind of pointless. It may seem like you're just talking to yourself, but there could be one person that reads the way you put the words, the order in which you put them, the words you use, like it just something can hit so deep for some random person. And I found that with me, like people talking to me, giving me advice every once in a while, like you hear the same advice, like, oh, it's gonna get better, whatever, everyone says that, and it's just kind of like dead air, like it's not like an important thing. Every once in a while someone will just, I don't know if you've had this, someone will just say something to me that like just clicks into my brain so perfectly, and it just like totally encompasses like what I needed in that moment. And so just think about like what you're saying on social media, if you're vulnerable, whatever, there's such a good chance that some random person out there is going to read that and it's going to resonate with them. It's going to be the thing they needed to hear. And that's what people will say sometimes. Like I'll post something dumb and I like, oh, just kind of, you know, being inspiring, whatever, just talking. And someone will just say like, I needed to hear this today. And that, like, above everything else in my world.
Yeah. Also, speaking about your world, you do a lot of traveling, and well, from what I've seen on your Instagram, obviously, like, not, I don't know personally, but
yeah, I mean, with COVID, I feel like it's slowed down, but
yeah, there's a lot of traveling. I wanted to ask you, when you're traveling, do you travel? So it's kind of a hard question. Do your photos kind of gear where you're traveling to, or do you travel more so for the traveling aspect, or is it kind of a mix of both?
Ooh, that's a really cool question. I don't know, man. Like, I mean, I guess at its core, it would be traveling to get to that place, you know, like to get to that experience, to see that thing. And what I've learned about myself, and as I've taken up photography like more frequently, is that, like, I mean, photographers or creatives in general, but photographers have like a very particular eye for art, right? Like I can be anywhere, I can see like a door on a house and know like that's gonna make a dope photo and I can take it. So I feel like I just go wherever I go and I always have a camera with me, and the photos just kind of follow. Like wherever I am, there's something can be made there. I mean, that's not to say there aren't like places I've seen, you know, like places that my friends have gone and taken photos and I'm hey, I want to be there, that looks cool. Like there's still that, but that's the cool thing about being a creative. Even like visual artists or whatever, you know, musicians can take influence from whatever. You just like, you make art wherever you are, right? Like it just kind of comes up in its own way.
Yeah, it's kind of like you just have your own perspective in your own brain, to the point where it's like you just kind of, your thought process is differently when you look at something, or even like hear something or visualize something or have an idea. It's completely different than someone else, like just like, oh, like someone working a desk job won't see the way the light is shining on the door handle on this particular day, right?
Yeah, and that was so evident when I went to BC. My dad lived out there, and so he was showing me around some places, and I'm taking photos of whatever, and he's looking at me and he's like, what are you doing? Shoot over here, take a photo of this, look at this. I'm like, no, trust me, this is the right shot. And like, I'd look at him and he'd be taking photos of something completely different, and I'd be focused on something else. And he has a background in photography too, a little bit, like, so he does have an eye for things, but even then, completely different ideas of what we want to capture. Like the same place, but with our backs turned, like photographing completely different things.
That's really interesting.
So, yeah.
It's all about perspective though, right? Because like, you know, his perspective could be like, this photo should be this way. Like the way he learned photography is different than the way you learn photography, and what you like is different than what he likes, right?
Completely. So we're like in a place and I'm like, wow, the water looks beautiful, the light's hitting it. It has like maybe like, I don't know, some rocks in it, and I'm taking a picture of that. And he's like, why are you looking at that? There's a mountain over here. Or then vice versa, we're somewhere, like, you know, like what's interesting to us.
You could take like a kind of a macro shot. He's taking like a landscape.
Yeah, exactly.
The next question I want to ask you actually is, these are basically all the questions that are kind of like revolved around your Instagram actually. So I think you did a few giveaways. I kind of wanted to ask, at least from like starting out versus now, what's the process like when you like either get reached out for like a giveaway, or get offered to like do like a kind of work with someone for a giveaway or something, anything like that, and like kind of how like that process rolls out, just for like, you know, just some insight on how the process actually goes down.
Yeah, I mean, I have a few, I guess, things with that. I mean, when I do a giveaway, I feel like most of the ones I've done, I've initiated. Like I've reached out to like a creator, or even most of them are my friends, honestly, friends who are creatives also, and kind of pitch my idea like, hey, I like want to support you, and I know you have respect for me, you want to support me, let's figure something out. And so you just, you know, plan it however, but it's always important to me that it's not like I don't want it to be just a cheap way of getting tons of like dead followers, right? Like it's still the point of it, and the reason I don't just pick up giveaways with every person that ever messages me about it, it's because I want it to be meaningful. I still want it to be something about. I mean, no shame if someone wants to just have a giveaway with 15 people and like get a bunch of followers, rock on. Like no judgment. However, like I still want it to be productive for me, right? Like one of my friends who has a film lab here in Niagara, him and I, like he developed a roll of film of mine before he even like opened up his shop. Like he gave me the in, he got me like I was the first roll developed there. Yeah. And he's been like an awesome supporter, and I've like shouted out his business, like we're buddies like that. So I just messaged him, I'm like, hey, I really love what you do. Let's figure something out. So I gave away some a camera, some film, he developed the film, and it's just cool, like meaningful projects, not just, you know, anyone
just anyone who comments.
Yeah.
Boom,
it's like if I wouldn't care, like if I wouldn't enter it, like I don't really want to do it. Like I want it, and I know the people that follow me, like what they, I mean, I can't say that, but like what they care about in a general sense, right? Like I still want it to be relevant and genuine, right, to me. So yeah, just my advice would just be to that group of people or that person in particular who you bounce really well off, like, you know, your ideas are just, you know, good, and you can collaborate on things, find something unique you can provide to the community, and team up, because it's an awesome way to network, awesome way to give back to the followers and all that.
So what are some things that you'd advise to avoid when doing a giveaway?
Oh my god, this is so silly, but like my biggest pet peeve, I kind of said it before, is when people have giveaways with like 10 plus people. Because like, I don't know, when I scroll past and it's like, rules, follow this person, this person, this person, this person, this person, and it's like, I don't know any of these people, I don't really like care about seeing this person's content, but if I want to enter this giveaway to get the other thing, I follow all of these people. Like it just, that feels like a little bit more, you know, like disingenuous to me. But like, again, I have no judgment. Everyone does their own thing, and it works for some people. I've seen some really, really, really dope giveaways with like tons of creators all on the same, you know, lineup, and that's cool that people collaborate. For me personally, I like to keep it really simple. Yeah, that would be my advice, really, just to like keep it simple.
Like when starting out, keep it like limited to a certain amount of people.
Yeah, keep it limited to a certain amount of people. The like how to enter, keep that simple. Just anything that promotes engagement, right? Like you don't want to make it super hard for people to enter the giveaway. That's the main thing. No matter what your rules are, your qualifications, just like make it easy, and more people will engage with it.
Yeah, because you can imagine like comment 5 times, follow 10 people.
Yeah, share this to your story 15 times, tag every person. It's like, I don't have time for this. I just want to get a camera. Like, just
it's
simplify.
Not like, it's not like they're actually like trying to like, it's not like a test. Like you have to fill out every quota. Yeah. It's like more so like, I'm gonna enter this and see what happens.
Yeah,
like, more so kind of like just putting your ticket in and see what happens. Exactly. Rather than like filling out an entire like application and putting
send in your resume and we'll see if we'll get back to you in 3 business days. Like
I think on that note, we're actually gonna wrap things up on the podcast.
Cool, yeah.
Amryn, you can shout yourself out on all your social medias.
I'm Amryn Shea. I mean, I only really have Instagram. We're talking. I think this was off the record. We were talking about TikTok. I don't have TikTok. I should. But yeah, Instagram, Amryn Shea. Hopefully you can put that on the screen because it's a weird name.
Well, it'll be in the title. It'll be in the description.
That's me.
That's me. Right there.
That's me. Yeah.
Me. Name.
Spell it right. You're not...
Spell it right, please. All right, but thank you anybody who's listening currently. We are available on YouTube as well, and anybody who's on YouTube, we're available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. And for any updates on the podcast, talklypodcast.com. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week.